everyone. Um, Sorry for the delay. Had a few difficulties. Some technical,
I do
some
want to
not.
say though, I want to say 9 million times out of 10, I'm the reason that we're late. Today, I was not, okay? And it means a lot to me. That's all.
Vindication is sweet, isn't it? So let's start from the beginning. Are do you have anything that you want to discuss beforehand? And is there anything that you got?
Yeah, I feel like you put me on the spot. Was there supposed to be? Shit.
No,
Goddamn.
I'll just asking if you know life update shit. I don't know.
Life updates, guys. In so like we'll see how that goes. So just manifest good things for me. So there's that. What else is going on? I'm trying to have a boyfriend in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I don't have any prospects in mind, but that's the ideal timeline. I'll let y'all know about any progress that's made on that front. Lyric, any life updates on your part? I guess I had Black Girl Wrestling updates, but
actually no, I don't think I have any. Life is kicking my ass, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. And then I made a crazy dumbass decision. Well, no, it's not dumb. It's not dumb because hey, we have to prioritize personal happiness or whatever the fuck that means. But I decided to go to Forbidden Door. And my life has already been falling apart. But I need serotonin. I need live wrestling. I need it now. And I just can't. Like these past couple
feels
months,
like a wise choice to me.
Yeah, like I need an adrenaline boost because honestly, like we are close. Like I'm on like reason number 11. If we want to be completely honest, like out of 13, we're on like reason 11. So hey, like I said, if anybody wants to contribute to the fund, my Cash App's in my bio. But
yeah,
I go ahead.
Guys, give us money. No, I just yeah, and I was thinking about that a lot today though. I was like, I did have an opportunity to ask Tony Kwan a question. I asked something I didn't care about at all. Why did I do that? I should have straight up asked him to give me some money and put pressure on him on the spot so he felt like he had to say yes.
Oh yes, correct.
I wasn't business minded.
I think also too of just don't get me wrong, love it here, like love doing this, like I love doing this show. But like we don't talk enough about how like content creators, most of them are not getting paid, and especially your favorite women content creators are not getting paid, but especially Black women are not getting paid. And this is simply for the love of the game, guys. So just wanted to throw that out there. I do have another update.
But
yeah, I was gonna say I wrote an article that came out today. Yeah, I was gonna say I wrote an article that came out today. Why is my hair sticking up? And so it was about the top 6 musical moments in AEW, something a little fun. Music has been a huge part of my life. Like I used to be a musician in a past life.
I mean,
and so well, yes, but I'm not actually named because like of anybody being musically inclined. I'm just named after a movie. So that movie Jason's Lyric, it came out like the year before. Came out like a year or 2 before I was born. So yeah, that's what I'm actually named after. Crazily enough. So, and the crazy thing is, I've never seen the movie. Still haven't seen the movie. Yeah, thank you.
Really?
And so yeah, tune into that. That's going to be really that movie, not movie. Fuck. That article was really fun. And of course, Final Countdown from Anarchy in the Arena is there. And any other updates, I'll just say last. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, guys, Black Girl Wrestling, step by step, we're taking over. And guess what? The girls are unionizing.
No, dead ass. Like I do want to say that really quickly. So we had a conversation a couple of days. I want you to know as soon as we get off this live, we be talking about people. No, 100%.
100%.
100%. But we were also talking about how it goes back to like the content creation thing, right? Of just like so many of us are not getting paid. And my thing is like, if we're all not getting paid, then I'd rather build a legacy, a dynasty. And so, expect some cool stuff from us coming soon. We do it all. We do it all. And this all came, I would like to say, this all came from that guy who mistakenly thought I was in Black Girl Wrestling. This all started from an accident. Like so whoever did that, if we ever
make what you've created,
you're kind of responsible. Like this all came from an accident. And I was like, something. So yeah, just know that the DEIs are linking up. We're ganging up on everybody. If you think that people
get real scary for you hoes,
conspiring, we are.
And so I just want to pour one out for everybody that really was hoping that we would be enemies by this point.
And there's a lot of you. There's a lot of you. I want you guys to know that there's no type of gratification that's worth being the only Black person in the room. Like, I just want you to know there's no handout, there's no job, there's no opportunity. And if for some people, that's all they want. Like, I get it. And that's why y'all are y'all. And I get scared, respectfully. I'm from the South, from the American South. I hate being the only Black person anywhere. Yeah,
even here.
I just want to throw that out there.
You're scary.
And I don't know how stuff was done before I got into this space, but I just want y'all to know I don't work like that. I like where two or more is gathered, there is church. And that's what the Bible says.
Go ahead, preacher. And I want y'all to know that was my whole thing stepping into this space. I even straight up told Lyric, like the second week Black Girl Wrestling started to get traction, I was like, hey, if you feel weird about this, I'll shut this whole thing down. I don't give a fuck. I'm not getting paid for this. If it gets weird or like anything like that, I'll just fully leave. But luckily for everybody and unluckily for the ops, we live. We're still here. Anyway.
Yeah, so Dynamite. Also, I don't know if y'all can tell because it looks like it in the light, but my hair looks really red. I touched up my hair with some.
Is it not red?
It is red, but like it looks like super red. So I touched it up with
though, like the super red suit.
I touched it up with like some box dye this weekend. 3 boxes of Dark and Lovely Berry Burgundy to be exact. Really? To be exact, and I dyed my hands red, and it is whatever.
It's okay. This is a shake and go wig that I've had for about a year. I need to let it go, but I figured most of you guys watching probably aren't Black women. What you gonna say, huh?
Stiff well.
Huh? Who gonna doubt me about it? Anyway.
So we started off Dynamite tonight with Swerve. And then so he's talking basically about, to be honest, I was kind of distracted in those first couple minutes. Not because something else was happening. And so I think he was just talking about everything that's, I don't know, cool. Also, I would like to say 86-degree weather, swerving these furs, you got the dog in you for sure.
And it's only gonna get hotter.
And I think and the thing is, he had let the furs go for a while, and he only picked them back up in the summer. I said, wow, this is one hell of a...
You think the hotter it gets, he's just going to keep adding layers?
Well, yes, I do. Correct. And you know what? That's one hell of a bit.
That's sicko behavior.
That's one hell of a bit. Real sicko behavior.
I'm not hot.
Okay, I ain't hot. I ain't hot.
The temperature waits for me.
Y'all ain't hot. I dig it. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Stay cold. Don't play with me. He got ice in his veins.
I can't. I gotta dig it. But so, we have a Swerve, and then he's talking about like these whack ass EVPs, and then suddenly speak of the devil shall appear. I would like to say, anybody talking sweet on Kazuchika Okada. Shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Y'all don't know shit. I listen. Kazuchika Okada.
I love him so down, bro. I don't play about Cash Money Kazu.
There's probably not going to be an Okada Swerve singles match for goddamn maybe the next 2 years. He said, hey, this ain't your house. This is my house, bitch.
Bitch.
Why would you say that?
And it was funny because as he was coming down the tunnel, like as the Elite were coming down the tunnel, you just heard him first. And I was like expecting one of the Young Bucks. I was like, who is that? I said, that's Cash Money Kazu talking his shit. Okay. And he just like me, he loves saying bitch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. He's like he's just like me in that aspect. And it kind of sucks because I'm just like, sometimes I'll be like, I need to stop cussing this bad, but y'all bring it out.
I've always said that I'm gonna stop saying the N-word, but sometimes
listen. I ain't gonna lie. Out of all the words that I've ever tried to drop, that has never been one. I think that, especially now with a lot of the discourse being going on Twitter about like who comes to what /
oh brother.
Like I'll say, being able to be a real DEI, I take it as a privilege because there's a lot of imposters out here. There's a lot of imposters.
That's actually very true. And in case you guys didn't know, I actually am one of them. So this is a deep fake. Yeah. So if y'all hear me say nigga, look twice. Anyway,
it's just a chainsaw going off. You ever heard that joke? Have you ever heard that joke? They said, what did the chainsaw say to the black person?
Oh my god!
I love it. You see, only we can say stuff like that. Like, you know, we can get away with that. I can't.
A lot of you guys try it.
You try it, and then you know what I hate. I'm not gonna lie. What I've hated recently. Sorry, I'm trying to retweet this video, but what I hate is that now, especially since a lot of the discourse, and obviously we're talking about the Cody is black thing, you see like non-black people giving other non-black people permission to say it. Like they'd be like, no,
and here's what else I'll say, right?
What are you about to say? What are you about to say? What are you about to say?
Well, I was gonna say a lot of you I think oftentimes a lot of these jokes, and like I'm not gonna get into it because like the think pieces aren't necessary. Oh my god, please get a job.
And honestly, it's so down the middle. Just no.
So down the middle. Just shut up. But you know, like just shut the fuck up. But what I will say is a lot of you guys are actually so eager for white acceptance rather than the other way around that you just hand out these passes or these invitations to anybody who's even adjacent to black culture in any capacity. So like
it's
getting scary. I don't give a fuck. That's also part of the problem, you know. I'm trying to get better at that.
You know what though? I think that we have a better grasp on it because we went to PWIs. And especially going to Power 5 big SEC schools, like when you see those people who will literally, they're like, oh yeah, you can say
you can come to the
you can say it, you can come, you can say it.
First of all, when the hell is this cookout?
Actual black people aren't invited to the cookout. So
that's what I'm like, did I not get a fucking invitation? God damn. And you know what else, right? There's a difference between a cookout and throwing something on a grill. All right. And y'all be sitting up here acting like, oh, you coming to the cookout? Are we throwing something on a grill? Is this a family reunion?
Do you even know the words?
A lot of you guys don't get it.
When you do the cha-cha slide, how many line dances do you know? Do you think
that's what we're asking?
Does Cody Rhodes look like he can wobble? Does he look like he can wobble?
Now, okay, see, now I don't feel like that's fair because I feel like he probably can. So I don't think that's a
You
good
think,
measure.
you think Cody can do the wobble? Seriously?
I think Cody Rhodes can do the wobble because it's not that hard. Now, the question is, do I think Cody Rhodes would look stupid doing the wobble? And
Okay.
yes. Yes.
I
no,
okay.
Go ahead.
I was just running down line dances in my head. I'm trying to run down line dances in my head. I don't see it. Like if
you don't,
so if
I know for a fact that Cody Rhodes can't do the Tamia line dance.
If I turn on before I let go right now, what's he gonna
do? Those are the real questions. Are you gonna
These are
be
the real questions
immediately?
If I turn on melodies from heaven right now, do you know your part?
Are you ready for that?
Do you know your part? Can you run? No.
altos, stay with me.
No, you can't do it. You can't do it. You don't even know what I'm talking about. You can't do
it. If you're not here with me right now, can't come. And you know what? I just feel like we need bouncers at these quote unquote cookouts, and I volunteer as tribute because
I think also this. Go ahead. Just finish what you're gonna say.
No. I was just gonna say because, like, right, a lot of people handing out invitations. A lot of y'all handing out these invitations wouldn't be there in the first place, right?
I would also like to say that a lot of people, y'all snatch, especially in wrestling circles. I think in Black wrestling circles, a lot of y'all snatch actual Black people's quote unquote card for not liking WWE at all. You're like a lot of y'all don't even include half of us because we don't like the same type of wrestling. But we giving invites to this hypothetical cookout to people who ain't even Black.
And you know what else?
Wake it up.
Look, again, you and I are very like on the same wavelength on most things.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to this. We can sit up here and have an intellectual conversation about the proximity to whiteness and how that's equated with success and how that's equated with acceptance, especially considering the power structures in the industries like wrestling. We could do that. That's no fun. My question that I want to ask, right? It's always Black people inviting white people to the cookout. What do we get in exchange?
I agree. You know what? My thing is, you know how whenever it's been on Twitter, like when somebody knows so I think it was like a white girl, she knew all the words to Finito, right? And they were like, invite her to the cookout. Did I get invited to the cookout for knowing Paramore's first 3 albums back to front? No. Did I get invited to the cookout?
Best night of my life was as a Paramore concert. Miss go way the fuck back. Sweet Caroline, I'm in that shit.
Hello?
But I don't get an invitation to anything.
My thing is, I didn't get an invitation to nothing for knowing Hootie and the Blowfish cracked rear view from front to back.
Goddamn.
I'm a theater kid. I got a Barbra Streisand greatest hits album for my 13th birthday. Where was my invite?
I went to a Tyler Childers concert last week. Me and my cowgirl had my cowboy boots, and what? I don't get anything for that, but he gets to come up here and get a plate for nothing.
We get nothing. We get absolutely
something.
And I understand that, like, there's this weird sense of attachment and loyalty because SmackDown was on UPN. I get it. But what is enough? I don't know. Yeah. Like I will say, I just want to say, like, it's been a lot of weird shit happening in wrestling recently. Like the daily discourse has always been frustrating and weird, but especially these last couple weeks, guys, shit is getting like really weird. I thought originally like people were joking and grifting and engagement farming, but I'm starting to think that some of you motherfuckers really think like that.
I'm scared. Like, y'all know how bad it has to get for me to log off Twitter? I love this shit. I was like, oh, I need a break. I'll be the first one to be like, well, what's tea? What's going on?
I swear to God, y'all scare me.
Weird. Huh?
I swear it's been getting like super scary because it's just like you'll think that you're saying something that makes sense. It's like, hey guys, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. Like, we should not be doing this. And then they'll be like, you stupid monkey coon dumb fuck. Oh my God.
Whoa.
I called a monkey the other day. I called a monkey the other day for like no reason. That's
guys.
It's just like, I feel like you can only curate, especially if you are and me personally, if you are a Black woman who is not homophobic, xenophobic, sexist, racist, all these, if you're like not any of these things, it's impossible to quote unquote curate your timeline. Like, it is impossible to, but you do the best you can.
Also, like,
I
was gonna say, I feel like on my own personal account, like Dani Don't Miss, I've done a pretty good job because I have at least 3,000 accounts blocked, and every single man or person I suspect is a man, I don't fucking care what you have to say.
I love that.
That being said, I understand that's not really realistic. I also understand that my own goals within this wrestling space kind of limited. I understand that if I wanted to go a little bit further, I probably have to unmute some of you hoes, and I probably have to unblock some of you bitches. However, I don't give a fuck.
But you also have the Black Girl Wrestling account, so no, you don't.
Yeah,
you don't have to.
The Black Girl Wrestling account, I see more of that shit, which is why I hate it more, because I'm like, oh my God, bro.
I think I have, so originally I used to just tweet some of like my personal takes, like on my personal account. But I had to lock my personal account because I'm gonna be honest, I don't want some of you guys to have access to anybody that I know in real life, like not my friends, like not my family, not my colleagues in real life. Because y'all get really weird and stalkerish.
I was gonna say, and like I mentioned it on this show before, right? Please do not seek out my personal accounts or information. There's no need to be, to be asking me things on my Instagram, which I do not link anywhere because I don't necessarily want the same audience there. Don't post my Black Girl Wrestling articles that I write on your LinkedIn. I don't love that. I didn't
Wait, what?
That.
What? What? We gotta talk about this afterwards. Put a pin in this conversation. What?
But yeah.
What?
So, I understand the sentiment and I appreciate the support. However, please don't do that.
I truly, respectfully, if you don't actually work, and I'm not talking about if you think you work, if you don't actually work for a wrestling company, like an actual company, do not connect with me on LinkedIn. Like, if you don't actually work there.
The craziest part, this person and I were not connected on LinkedIn. They just posted my stuff and was like, oh, then so that's a whole nother story. But just to say, appreciate all the support. Let's keep it here, Your Honor. Yeah. I also had someone straight up like ask me what side of town I lived on. Please don't do that, Your Honor.
No, that happened to me too. I think so. Weird. Somebody was asking me about like spots in my town, like, like, oh, do you go there often? You go there often? And if I did,
why did I tell you that?
We're having so much fun right now. Like, we're having so much fun. I love talking about wrestling, but at the end of the day, I am a Black woman and I have to protect myself. A young single Black woman, like, I have to protect myself. And like, honestly, like, if I want to form a deeper relationship with you, either as a friend,
I'll seek it out.
I'm real. I ain't looking for nothing romantic out of any of you bitch. But if I
that's the other thing. Sorry. And then we can actually talk about Dynamite. Get the fuck out of my DMs talking about romantic involvement. First of all, you have a profile picture. I don't know what you look like. You know what I look like. Don't do that.
Can we talk about that? Like, no, can we talk about that? Because I want to know how. And if anybody else in here is like a content creator, please tell us how you deal with this. Because people, and I even see it now, whenever I say that, oh, I'm going to be at this show, right? It'll be all these accounts saying, oh, I want to see you. I want to take a picture with you. And you don't have an actual profile picture.
I don't.
How the fuck am I supposed to know who you are?
And like, particularly when they try to put it in like a romantic context, one, that's just really strange to me. I don't love that. Second of all, I talk about how I'm going to get a boyfriend and I'm going to do it in my next 2 to 3 weeks. I don't need your help.
I also think too, it's one of those things to where I'll get like DMs saying like, oh, how did you enjoy this show that you watched? Did you enjoy the show that you watched? I tweet the shows that I watch and opinions. We don't need to have a conversation in DMs. And also, don't get me wrong, I'm very unserious. I love joking around, but as a woman, I want to be taken very seriously. If I tweet my takes, I write about my takes, I podcast about my takes, I take wrestling very seriously. And so I am not looking to like have side conversation with the DMs with people I know. I don't need the validation. Like if you do you DM Sean Ross Sapp saying, "Oh, how'd you like Dynamite tonight, bro? That was awesome."
Or do you DM, you know, these people asking for foot pics? Because I've been getting straight up weird ass straight up weird ass sexual ass messages. And I swear to God, I'm not the 1, 2, 3, or 4 bitches. Respectfully.
Maybe actually you for they racial chat room showing feet.
Which first of all, right? Time out. From totally separate, right? Y'all know me. For a bag.
Y'all be horny in the DMs for free. No catch it, no nothing. No nothing. Just free.
Just free?
For free.
I wouldn't do it for money. I'm sure as fuck not gonna do it for free. Audacity.
I will say, I would like to say, I would 100% send foot pics for money. Anything else, absolutely not. But feet pics, I'll go to the pedicurist right now. Right now, get it done. I will do it for money, 100%. Feet pics, absolutely. So if you would like to cash at me for feet pics, I would do it. I think Dani's frozen, and so I hate that the last thing she heard me. Oh, okay. I was about to say the last thing she heard me say was, "I will take feet pics for money." I've never done it before, but I'm willing to try. You know, willing to try something.
And I say, how many times did I say on this show? How many times did I say on this show?
Oh, your Wi-Fi beating your ass.
I have pretty.
It's beating your ass, sister. That Wi-Fi you up. Also, somebody said they ran to me at the Revolver show. Oh, hi. I hope that I was pleasant. I think I was pleasant that night. It was a fun night in LA. The first time there. It was a great time. Yeah, it was fun. But yes, I want y'all to know, like, I think that honestly, one of these days, maybe after a pay-per-view, it has to be a pay-per-view like neither of us are at, because we'd have to be home to like have this conversation. But I think that we should host a Twitter space with a lot of women in content. And I think that it should just be everybody just reading their DMs. I guarantee you that the most horrifying stuff that you will ever hear will come from women in wrestling, whether it's the wrestlers, the content creators, whatever. The amount of like the crazy DMs you'll either get somebody calling you you crazy dumb bitch, or you'll get somebody like, you know, trying to slide on you or in your business. It's kind of scary. So I digress. Oh my gosh, I know exactly who you are, what you're talking about, because he was talking to that one woman in the hallway. I do know exactly what you're talking about. Oh my gosh, it was very humid out there. In that parking lot, 100%. What I was saying, Dan,
see me again?
Yes, we can. And I was saying that one of these days, probably after a pay-per-view night when everybody's feeling frisky, but it can't be a pay-per-view that we're at physically, because I think this is going to be a long conversation. I think we should just invite a lot of the women in content and stuff. I think everybody should just read out their DMs. I think everybody should just read their DMs.
100%. You're going to air you bitches out. Be
absolutely
afraid, you nasty hoes. Oh, wait, also time out. I do want to say, right, on a more positive note, I love meeting people at shows. I make friendship bracelets because I want to meet people at shows. So
Yes.
to me, it's not even one of those things like however, when we start getting weird about like when and where's and locations and stuff, like don't love that. That's all.
Yeah. I feel like
no, like if you see me at a show, or if you think that you see me at a show, come say hi. I'll give you a friendship bracelet and we can be best friends forever.
Absolutely. I think that wrestling shows are the perfect place to, approach people, because like we're all here for the same thing. It's a common interest, right? Like it's really cool. And honestly, I don't think people know like how a lot of the times, especially this year, like especially Revolution and Windy City Riot, like I've been going through a lot personally, and so like having people come up to me during a show and like talking to me, like that meant so much to me. It means so much to me. Like it honestly like really really makes my day and like boosts my spirits. And like I think there's been so many people like I've become real friends with, like actual friends with, after seeing at shows.
Like me?
There's just some people, yeah. But yes,
I was gonna say to wrap this up, I was just gonna say very quickly, love meeting people at shows. Please come say hi. I love handing out friendship bracelets. Also, though, I don't want it to make it seem like we're coming across as like, oh my god, we're so famous, we just can't handle it. At the end of the day, it's more just like a safety thing as women.
Money for real. It's more for safety,
yeah, that too. But anyway, Dynamite.
So Dynamite, Kazuchika said it's his house, bitch. And then obviously them and Swerve go back to back. And so this is when I start getting I didn't want to use that term because it sounds a little too I don't want to use that term. I started getting excited, to say the least, because I felt the spirit. I felt the spirit of, I was about to say hot and bothered, but I didn't want to go for those type of vibes.
I know you were.
I just felt the spirit of Hangman is close. It's getting closer. I could smell it. I could taste it.
I could smell some cowboy shit in the air.
I could smell it. It was amazing. Nobody, please don't clip that.
I will.
All you gotta do is Photoshop like a powder line right under it, and then people are gonna do craziest things.
Yeah, guys, we do coke on this show.
She's joking. She's joking so hard, y'all.
What if I'm not?
Coke is not a black people drug, and at least it shouldn't.
No, it's not.
And I feel like there's been pushes recently in the black community to try to normalize Coke as like a casual drug.
Ain't nobody doing Coke. God damn. Like
most black people don't even like shit up their nose. Let's just start there.
Fair enough. Why would you? Now, I also want to clarify.
We can't even swim.
We're not on drugs. We're not on drugs.
Like, my thing is, we can't even swim, guys. We can't even swim. So.
But if we were on drugs, it wouldn't be Coke.
Absolutely not. And also, I will say, like, if you look at the average black salary in America, we don't make enough money to buy Coke.
No.
This is an economical problem, guys.
Ronald Reagan.
This all gets back to Ronald Reagan. It's all his fault. We could be doing Coke right now, dude. Like, no.
Economics is the reason that we can't do Coke in 2024 as a people. And that feels like an absolute injustice. Everybody should be allowed to break the law equally.
Show is so off the rails. We're 36 minutes in. We on the first one. I'm like, what the fuck? They'll never find another show like this.
That's for sure. For better or for worse.
I digress. And so yada yada yada. I felt the spirit of Hangman. I thought we were about to get something. Instead, we got the acclaimed boo, tomato, 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 throwing tomatoes.
But Bowens, not you.
Not you. Happy Pride, my sweet, amazing, beautiful king. You are awesome. You are kind. You are smart. You are important. We love you. But the other one.
And look, I was thrilled that they announced. I love Blood and Guts. You know me. Y'all be talking about sickos. I I'm a real life sicko. I love Blood and Guts. I want it as violent as it can get and more. But what I will say is that I don't really understand why the Acclaimed are in a Blood and Guts match, or the implication that the Acclaimed are going to be in a Blood and Guts match. And I don't understand why we're turning our focus to Blood and Guts when Forbidden Door is right around the corner. Now, I get it. I get it. You know, I understand that everybody's like, well, Hangman's going to be the fifth man.
Well, that's not why. I don't think.
Oh, go ahead.
I think that they're doing it because, respectfully, if you think about it, this is more so from a business perspective, but last year, selling the house for Blood and Guts, they only cracked 9,000 in the nick of time. That walk-up number in Boston last year for Blood and Guts, thank God it was huge. But tickets weren't selling like that originally. And I think a lot of it is because, like, there's so much happening. There's so much happening in that stretch from Forbidden Door. Then we had All In coming up, etc. So I think that's why they're trying. Same reason, like, it reminds me a lot of, remember, you know, when Tony said, "Oh, I got a big announcement at the end of it was November last year, big signing," right? Ends up being Ospreay, even though we knew he was already coming. Then the next week they put All In tickets on sale early. So it was more, I think it was more so a business perspective.
And I get it. Yeah. I do.
And
like, from a business perspective, I hear you. From a creative perspective, the build for Forbidden Door has been all over the place. And the mention of this does not help with that.
I agree. And also I think, like, there's a lot happening now because you're trying to build Forbidden Door. You also are fully trying to get people excited for the Owen Hart Cup, right? Which is fantastic, by the way.
Mission accomplished.
We're going to get there. The Owen Hart Cup. And then you're also trying to, part of the build for Owen Hart Cup is the build to All In. So it's like we have focus on these three major things all at one time, in addition to Blood and Guts. And so it is a lot. It's a lot. Will it even out eventually? By the time Hangman comes out, we won't give a fuck, guys. Like, I realize that cowboy, whenever he pops out, we're gonna forget we ever had this conversation. We're just gonna shut up and and so it's just going to be very busy. And I think that's why AEW specifically, they need to utilize their time wisely. Every show matters. Rampage cannot be a throwaway show. And I think that they've been doing
that's well. What I was going to say. I think that realistically, understanding that it's going to be a really busy stretch for the company and for the talent, it cannot be a confusing stretch for your viewers.
Correct.
And that's the territory that I think you might be veering into, especially with the introduction of Blood and Guts right now. Because
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, because on its face, right? Like, Ospreay is fighting Swerve. Thinking about Ospreay's, for example, just as one person, Ospreay's involvement tonight, right? So Ospreay, the first person that comes out is Swerve, who cuts his promo. And then new people come out, you know, it's not Ospreay who responds to that promo, even though Ospreay is going to be his next opponent. So, like, that's one thing. And then Ospreay comes out and has a title defense for a belt that he's not going to be defending at the next pay-per-view. So you're like, all right, guys.
I think also too of just respectfully. So I think that I've enjoyed Swerve's title reign, right? I've really enjoyed Swerve's title reign. And I think that Swerve, especially coming out the Christian Cage match, I think that he stands alone very well. Like, I think he holds himself very well. Swerve should not, I don't think that he is powerful enough to carry a team with the Acclaimed. I don't think anybody is
especially not for Blood and Guts.
For a blood feud, like, I think that that's a lot of carrying that you expect him to do also while he's mid trying to build whatever his all-in match is going to be. Like, I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong. I fully agree with him being on Team AEW. Saw this coming a mile away a while ago. there had to be something better here. Like the Acclaim is really throwing me off. Like it's really throwing me off to the point to where, guys, y'all know I'm a real hater. I hate the way that they walk, the way that they talk. I hate the way that they dress. I miss FTR. Never thought I'd say it. Never thought I'd say some shit like that before, because I can't stand. But I'm not gonna lie. In 2024, aside from hearing them talk, and I typically turn the volume down anyway when they talk, FTR been nice in the ring. I'm not gonna lie. I've had Dax Harwood muted for the last 2 years, so I just found out that apparently he's out. I just found out. But I would rather FTR just stay in that. I would have rather them stay in that spot than have the Acclaim, 100%. Because guess what? Even for a real FTR hater, let's just be real. In Anarchy in the Arena, they did their job. They didn't take up too much time. They were background characters. They let everybody else do. And I know you're shaking your head, but I know you agree. And I know you agree, because guess what? They didn't really bother nobody. They didn't bother nobody in the Anarchy in the Arena. All the fun big spots, they weren't involved. They did. They were there in that Tomohiro Ishii cosplay. They did it. So go ahead.
No.
So you would take the Acclaimed over FTR?
I would cancel the match.
Well, yes, correct. Okay, I get it.
No,
I get it.
No, I hear you. Look, the Acclaimed. When you talk about like the idea of a team AEW, I understand in the sense that that the Acclaimed has been wildly popular and there. I get that from that perspective. At the end of the day, though, I come on, bro. Be so for real. I will never though be able to look myself dead in the eye if I say that I miss FTR. Now
I hate myself for saying this. Don't get me wrong.
Now, if you go get Commissary Cash Wheeler, all right, without baldy locks, just send Commissary Cash in there, I can tolerate it.
Don't get me wrong.
I at this point, I understand that, it might be overdone. I would argue that so is FTR and even, the Anarchy in the Arena stuff. Lucha Bros.
I mean, well, yeah. Listen.
You just want a banger match for Team AEW? Whatever. We'll figure out the storylines later. That makes more sense to me than throwing the Acclaimed in there in a way that is not fitting to their character at all.
Don't get me wrong. If it was up to me, none of these people would be in. I agree.
Women's.
Lucha Bros. No, I agree. With Lucha Bros, I think they would sit. I think they would fit. You need a homegrown AEW tag team in that match. And I think that there are several tag teams who would be perfect for that spot. My thing is about the FTR thing. Like I said, just because they were already in the match, and trust me, it pains me to say this. After this stream, I'm going to go into the bathroom and I'm going to punish myself like Dobby. Like Dobby from everybody. I'm going to smack myself in the face over and over again. Stupid. I'm going to do it. It's okay. But guys, I just no. Like, and I think also too of like the Acclaimed, y'all. Their reign killed the trios division. So now you want to put them in the hottest storyline in the company? Like, what? It's the kind of my thing with the Jericho stuff. Like, what did you do to deserve a promotion? Like, what did you do? It's one thing. Like, I think that you should be fighting to get one segment a week on Rampage. So what the fuck did you do to get 3 segments?
What do you have on these people?
You know where the bodies are buried.
Tony Khan has human remains in his home.
I think Max Caster must have held Tony Khan by the back of his neck and said, listen, hey, these raps, you're next. You're next. And I need to know, and also Billionaire, if you need some real haters to help bail you out of this, we got you. We have your back. Like, we have your back. If you need to get out of this so you can go book us somebody better, we will get you out of this. We got you. 100%.
Also,
But
did
it's
you
just
see that tweet? Like he booked something, and then somebody was like, "See, he responds well to bullying," and he was like, "I also respond well to positive reinforcement."
positive affirmation.
No, that didn't work for me, brother.
I ain't gonna lie, Tony, you got so much positive information, especially affirmation, especially like the first 2-3 years of AEW. Like Tony Khan, we showered you in positive affirmation. I'm just talking about I'm talking about the fan base as a whole. Like AEW built up a lot of goodwill. I think that it goes back to that conversation. People were like, what is the biggest booking mistake in AEW history? And some people were saying, like, it's Hangman losing the title to Punk at Double or Nothing 22.
It is.
And I think, well, correct, absolutely. But at the time, people didn't make a big stink over it because, like, AEW had a lot of goodwill. They had a lot of goodwill.
You want to know why? Kenny Omega.
Well, yes. Well, correct. And I also think you have to think Double or Nothing 2022 was the first Double or Nothing back in front of like on a touring crowd. Like, the previous 2 years had been in Daly's place. So like they were just getting back into that post-COVID groove, out of being in Daly's place. So everybody was like, okay, cool. Not like exactly that we liked it, but let them cook. Now, did we expect the house to burn down by September? No. But the goodwill was there. And I think it could be argued that same goodwill just it doesn't exist as much right now. And so
I can just say that look, on a personal level, there's something in me. I can just never be nice to billionaires. Like, I'll be civil, respectful, cordial, but you're the highest up on my rob list, okay?
right.
So I mean, like, you don't need a pat on the back. Like, you got a pat from the bank. Come on.
And now that I know that Tony Khan be driving by himself sometimes, y'all shouldn't have told me that.
Look.
But yeah, so I think blood and guts, and I think also the topic was brought up. Hey, women's blood and guts. I think this Chris Willow feud should be the basis, could be easily the basis. These are two women who have, they have experience in street fights and hardcore matches. If there were ever two people to anchor the women
to me,
blood and guts match, here's the thing. I think that they should do it on Rampage because I don't want them competing with the men. Like it's 2 hours, it's a 2-hour show. Blood and guts takes a long time. Guess what? Give them the hour. Give the girls the hour. We have to think the women's street fight started on Rampage. And so if we're going to start off blood and guts, you want them to pop a number? Well, the reason why I say Rampage is because the Dynamite and Rampage are taped together. So the double rings will already be set up.
Yeah, but I feel like that's their problem. That's not my problem. I want it on Saturday.
I mean, well, yes, but I just know they're not going to do it on a Saturday. So
yeah, I understand. From a logistics standpoint, I get it. From a Danielle standpoint, figure it out. I don't give a fuck.
Correct.
But what was after that?
So after that,
Jack Perry, Justin Rhodes
versus Dustin Rhodes. Dustin Rhodes, I think I'm probably gonna one day. I think I want to do a list. You've inspired me with your Ospreay binge. I'm going to do a list of all the Dustin Rhodes matches in AEW, and I'm going to count how many he bled in. And I'm willing to bet
he was bleeding today.
I am willing to bet that he's had a crimson mask for at least 75% of his performances in AEW. Like literally from the first one. Since Cody versus Dustin on Double or Nothing 2019, I believe that he has bled for at least 75% of his match.
I would bet you're probably right. But I would say, this match, it did what it was supposed to do. Especially in relation to other matches on this card, don't really remember it. Don't really care. Jack Perry won. He joins the TNT title belt ladder match, which is going to be really interesting. And I'm not entirely sure who I think should win.
Yeah. This TNT ladder match is interesting because also nobody from New Japan has been added yet. And I'm almost positive somebody will be. I have plans. I think that my personal if it was up to me, if you're asking me to book it, I'm putting Kevin Knight and El Phantasmo in there. From especially, I think, but El Phantasmo especially
For
with
sure.
going over to WWE, he's a singles guy now. He could really use that spot. So, and we have to remind ourselves, El Phantasmo was such a huge part of the first Forbidden Door. Like, who? Let's not forget when Sting twisted his nipples. It was a
How could you
fantastic
forget?
moment. We had so much fun. Had so much fun. And obviously Kevin Knight is just a freak of nature athletically, and like his hops are crazy. I think like he'll have like a breakout performance. And then on the CMLL side, I think we should put Teton in there. Shout out to that LIJ King. But yes, the TNT ladder match is really interesting because I think right now you have two people who could really theoretically win this match. And I think it's either going to be Jack Perry or Takeshita. And I think like this is a very hard decision to make. I could see because at the end of the day, like not for you, but I think from a booking perspective, I think it is very hard because you have the elite, and right now the entire faction is built up, and like they're on this heel run of dominance. Like they like the modern evolution. They doing that shit. But then you have Takeshita, who's been patiently waiting his turn, knocking bitches out, taking
and
names,
needs a fucking win.
and everybody loves him. Like I mean, even everybody loves him, even when he doing the craziest thing, everybody loves him. And so, hey, I don't know. I don't think you can truly go wrong with either person with Jack Perry or Takeshita, but I digress. And I do believe somebody said in the chat, I do believe Takeshita would have made way more sense as the international champion, 100%, or the continental champion, but they're not going to run him versus Okada.
That 1,000,000%.
And honestly, until he doesn't, Takeshita's not ready to face Okada, not because he's not good enough, but that match is one of the biggest matches that AEW has in their back pocket. He has to get some wins. He needs to be like the damn near the strongest guy in the company. When he goes clash to clash with Okada, this is a match that has never happened anywhere, not in Japan, not in America. All. So it has to be big.
I was firmly in the camp that Takeshita should have been the one to beat Roddy. And now, especially after seeing for the international belt, and especially after seeing what I with Rey, I don't think it's the proper use of this belt.
What?
As far as getting it all tied up with the I was gonna say I see where they're going with Ospreay as the international champion. I get it. You know, you're gonna do the whole, Icarus too close to the sun. I get it. I still would have loved to see Takeshita as international champion off of Roddy because I think it would have made more sense. But
I think also too, just
hey, what was after that?
I was gonna say Takeshita still regularly competes in Japan. Like, I mean, if you want to talk about somebody, he actually has the schedule, like the current schedule, to be able to make it feel like a big deal. So I digress. Anyway, so what was after that? We had the was it the trios match that was next? I'm looking.
MJF out there first.
Oh yes. Oh
maybe.
Yes, we had the Roosh squash match. Roosh squash match, and then MJF comes out. Listen, Roddy versus Thatcher next month. Oh, cool. So this is my thing. This was much better from last week. I think it's because Max didn't speak. I do think that things kind of escalated quickly. We went from one to blood feud in a week.
That's what I was saying. I don't think this was better because I was sitting there, I was like, why are they so mad? Like,
I was totally wondering.
I really don't. I hate especially like MJF coming with the energy. Like, I understand more so if it was if it was Roosh coming out, like coming out hot, but like MJF coming with that energy, girl, huh? Why are you mad? What's going on?
I really hate when foreigners have the I Hate Americans gimmick in 2024. I think it's lazy. I think it's so lazy. I think that's why I've loved Okada's booking so much, is because he's a heel, but it has nothing to do with him being Japanese. It has nothing to do with him being Japanese.
And it's also weird because it gives the implication of like the other person as like Captain America,
Exactly. I mean, why the fuck does Max look like this savior? Like, like this, he's standing up for America. He's standing up for our troops. Country. Like, what?
Oh.
The only thing that I might hate more in 2024 than foreign invader gimmicks is patriotic gimmicks. Like, have you seen the state of this country? Do you see our options for president? And you want to sit God bless the USA in the middle of the ring.
For what?
For who?
For fucking what?
In Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. Because why are y'all backstage throwing shit like that? You just met him last week.
Why are you mad? Defending America's honor? Nobody asked you to do that.
Nobody.
What?
That'll never get me. I'll be like, you got it. You can talk crazy about this country right in front of me. I'll be like, you got it.
Now, my one exception is the
Olympics.
When it comes to the Olympics, I become the most patriotic motherfucker out there.
Simone Biles
down.
Simone Biles, she's gonna win again.
Give me that. Give me that.
I get real USA around here. Yeah.
It's every 4 years.
Yeah.
When it comes to international competition.
Hey, I realized that, imagine if professional wrestling was an Olympic sport. Actually, it shouldn't be, because I can't cheer for America. Because, guys,
who do we
wherever
have?
Kenny Omega is, Canada.
100%. And you know what? I will add, right? Like, we sit up here, like, Ospreay kind of did the whole I hate Canada thing when he went to Canada with Kenny Omega. Now,
he had the right to. I'm not going to lie.
I was going to say, now that's different, because also the fact that Kyle O'Reilly is Canadian, like, really grips me, because I'm like, he gives the most, like, Massachusetts energy ever. Like,
pause. Somebody said we're making stuff up now. They've been talking trash on Twitter. Who are you talking about? And what do you mean making stuff up? And if you're talking about MJF and Roosh, I wouldn't know. I have MJF muted. And Dani has all men muted. So
every single one. I don't know what's going on.
we wouldn't know. Keep it cute. Finish what you're saying.
I don't know. So I hear you where you're coming from, but if we miss something, I'm okay with that.
We didn't know. Like I told you, I didn't even know Dax was injured until today.
Till they said it on Dynamite. Yeah. Taking a step back from Twitter, but I appreciate the information.
Appreciate that.
But no, look, I think the Roosh MJF match, we're getting it next week. Cool. MJF should lose.
Well, yes. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think that. That's my biggest problem with those two feuding, honestly, because if it means we've seen, and actually I actually did the math. So I've been looking into. I've been doing. What was that? Was I looking at Double or Nothing? I think 2021. Was that Double or Nothing 2021? I believe so. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the debut of Roosh, if I'm not mistaken. I believe so. Or it might have been after that. Let me see. Roosh debut AEW. Oh no, he debuted in 2022. So like Roosh debuted in the same time as Swerve, as all these different people, as you know, as who else debuted in 2022? Athena. There's been a lot of people who came in that year. And when you look at them versus him, and also when you look at his talent, he is far behind everybody. Not by talent, but as far as booking wise, and him
in
coming
relation
back
to his talent, yeah.
And obviously, that first year, he's been hot-headed in his past, so he was on a trial run for a year to see if he could be good, but he's proven that he can. And my thing is, he's clearly has the talent, and he's now back, and I don't want to see him lose. He's not here to I don't want to see him here to just put guys over, like especially Max. Max has won too much. And I'm gonna be honest, like I agree. I've said this of just it's not even more so of hating him, it's more so of where is the character development? Because a lot of times character development comes from losing. Max has been the most protected man in AEW history. The only other person was Jade Cargill. And like he's been the most protected. And it's just like you can't get valuable character progression when you're winning all the time. Why do you think Hangman is so loved? Because he knows how to lose. He's been built up to the highest of highs. He's been tore down to the lowest of lows. There's progress. Like, where there's struggle, there's progress. Same thing with Swerve. Swerve lost until he finally won. Even, you got to think, even a few months before he won a championship, Swerve still had a couple L's. He still laid down for Bryan Danielson.
Yep.
Like, you got to think of just, my thing is, there can't be any progress where there is no struggle. And I don't want to see him walk all over Roosh. I'm not interested in it. And honestly, the thing is, look, I would like to be interested in Max. I really would. And you want to know why? Because he has re-signed to a deal, and I think that he's probably going to be here at least 4 more years. I would like to not be miserable for the next 4 years, because he's always going to be a clear big spot on television. I would like to actually be interested in what I'm watching. But if the rest of his contract is going to look like this, of constantly doing the same thing over and over and squashing all of our faves, and then continuously just moving up with no real character progression and the same type of promos all the time, I'm not interested. I'm just not at all.
I don't care about him that much. That's honestly what it comes down to. Like, I hear a lot of stuff about him and about again, a lot of think pieces, a lot of opinion pieces, and I totally understand where everybody's coming from. I just am not particularly moved by him right now. There have been moments in which I felt a little sung. Now's not one of them. Don't really care, honestly.
I think, and I agree. I think it's more so, like I said, it's not hate. It's more so apathy of just, why should I care? What are you doing differently that's going to make, why should I lock in on you and your story? What about you should really make me think that, oh, I know that this is going to be interesting. Like nothing, I'm just apathetic. And I think it's also because there's just so many, many more complex characters now on television. I think like when the first couple of years of AEW, especially when that roster was looking a little scarce, Max's his mic skills were incredible compared to everybody else on the roster. Like, oh my gosh, like look at him. Like it's amazing.
And needed.
Absolutely. And he can wrestle every now and then. But now guess what? Every top guy can talk and wrestle. That is like the minimum now. Like that's the bare minimum to get your foot in the door in AEW at this point. Like the things that used to make him special are now things that everybody's doing. And some people are doing it better. I bet you. Oh, let's move on. Yeah, let's move on.
Let's.
So next we had the I would like to say we had that Shibata and Hook, not Shibata, Samoa Joe and Hook tag match versus the varsity athletes. Listen, man, old man Joe, running this team is fantastic. I am more interested in than I've been in months.
Absolutely. And I love the addition of Shibata because it just seems like you look at these three people and you're like, what do these people have in common? Ow. But
like,
I love it.
Had them green shoes on with that camera on his look, bro. That camera.
Shibata choking that nigga out had me weak. He had that motherfucker slumped.
There's a comment here that I do want to point out of saying Hook should have always been with Joe. I agree. And I think that is something. The last time I was interested in Hook before this was when he had that match versus Samoa Joe. And I expected that to be a real turning point for him in his career. And obviously, I think getting in the Jericho verse derailed that. But I feel like we're back on track. Like, I really do feel like we're back on track. And I'm actually really excited. I love this trio. I think that Gen Z Hook trying to explain things to Gen X Joe and Shibata, like they had an argument about the color orange. Like, in Syracuse. Like, what? Bro, what? What? This was fantastic. Like,
and it's not too much. It's not over the top. And they're not trying to be, and as a collective, they're each not trying to be anything but themselves, which I think is what's key to making a trio like this work.
I think that you've made a very great point there. And I think that's a point of, I think that sometimes, and this even kind of reminds me of a lot of the discourse about what people feel about card placement and different stuff. And like, oh, this person should be featured more. This person should be featured more. And I think that sometimes fans, people just want what they want. But I think also, too, I think that sometimes people want everything at once. And I think especially in AEW, when you think about some of the stories that have ended up being some of the best and some of the most beloved by fans, it all started small.
Let them cook.
It all started small. Like, you might get maybe less than 10 minutes on the show or something. Like, let's even think about Hangman Swerve, right? Like, even though we talk about it like it was the main event program of like the past year, but let's just be real. It was very much a secondary feud in real time. But it captivated people to the point to where they needed more and more and more time. And I think that it's one of those things of AEW with the roster being as stacked as it is. I feel like you need to earn more time. You want more than one segment on the show. You want longer stuff on the show, especially like, you need to earn more time. I think that's where the frustration with Jericho comes from, because even with him having kind of bumps in the ratings, respectfully, Dynamite not doing 1 million every week or anything. Is it significant enough to give him 4 segments throughout the show? Absolutely not. Like, absolutely not.
Well, and my Jericho frustrations come from other places, but I hear you.
Yes.
A lot of times it's something as simple as like there can be a little bit of magic in a million little things. And that way also everything doesn't feel forced. And so sometimes, especially when you know that there are elite level performers who just need the opportunity, just let them cook. They'll get there. I think that this trio is absolutely just an example of that.
I think another good example of that is like some of the women, in the sense of, think about it, Willow and Chris started off as a Rampage feud. It was strictly on Rampage. And now think about the pop that they get of just like, now they're 2 of the focal points of the show, of Dynamite. Because sometimes you got to start slow. And I'm excited I think that Hook, Shibata, and Samoa Joe are going to be a really big part of rebuilding the trios division, which I think I'm very excited for right now. Like,
after tonight, this is what we could have been living,
bro.
I don't know if
you started freezing as soon as you got teed up. Say it again.
I just said this is how we could have been living as a trios division this whole
absolutely
time. Because I was going to transition and talk about the trios match if you were cool with that.
Yeah, no, that's where I was going to.
Okay, cool. Oh my God, bro. Guys, I think first of all, looking at this trios match, I saw this and I was like, he put that shit on there for me. Okay. That is perfectly curated to Danielle Levingston first and foremost. And it was deeply, deeply personal to me. I think I also I tweeted this, but like I had a real moral dilemma when Kyle O'Reilly and Konosuke Takeshita are on opposing sides, because I've said it before on here. Kyle O'Reilly could come out here and curb stomp a newborn baby, and I'd be like, Kyle O'Reilly's here, you know?
He's so cuddly. He looks so cuddly. Like he looks like a teddy bear. Like I'm sorry, like he could stomp me in the face and I'd probably say thank you. I don't know. Like he's so cuddly. Came back, and I will say, like, especially when he came back with like the hair, like the log hair, it was just like, give me a hug. You know what he looked like? No joke. This is fucked up, but Kyle O'Reilly looked like sadness from inside out.
Aw.
I know.
That's not as bad though. I said last week that Roddy looked like Jeffrey Dahmer. So
well,
look up a picture of Jeffrey Dahmer.
I'm not doing it. Absolutely not.
Everybody always tries to silence me on these shows.
I know I'm not going to silence you, but I will leave you on your own to stand on this. You gotta stand.
What happened to solidarity?
I support you. That's why I didn't remove you from the stream. You have the right. You have the right to say whatever you want. You got the right to say whatever you want on this show. Now, will I agree? 99.9% of the time, and you just cashed in on 0.01.
Lost me.
Sorry.
But you know what I will say before we talk about like the match specifically? Mark Briscoe. That promo.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought about this because I said I could potentially sound like a hypocrite after the way that I ripped in MJF yesterday for last week for messing with them accents, because Mark Briscoe completely butchered Takeshi's name, but it wasn't done with any malicious intent. Like, y'all, he just talked like that. Like, he really just talked like that. Like, and everybody know, like, real country people, they just talk like that.
And they just keep going. There's no emphasis on it because there's no malicious intent. You just got lots to say.
Briscoe, and I'm a Southerner. I'm a real Southerner, so I immediately understood. And also, like, Mark Briscoe, I will say he's one of the best promos in wrestling, period, because like his words never feel like a promo. It just feels like he's just talking. I don't know. After listening to Mark Briscoe, I don't know whether I want to go to the gym or I want to go to church. Like, I always feel like I feel like I just feel unproductive when I hear.
No, I just stand there, and much like the rest of them, because you saw Willow was breaking in the background, and Kyle O'Reilly was just sitting there like.
I would like to say, I'm going to use that. I'm going to go back and I'm going to clip that video, that part where Orange Cassidy says, "If nobody got me, I know who do got me." And then there's Willow. Because yes, correct. Absolutely. If nobody got me,
that's who you should be.
Willow Nightingale has my back. Correct.
And we got yours, sister.
Also, we did not have her back tonight because, oh my God, Chris was beat her ass.
She beat her ass. But it's all the fault of Goldilocks. He knows what he did. But
Stokely, you're bald.
Bald.
Hey, what they said on Black Panther 2, bald-headed demon. You bald-headed demon. That's Stokely Hathaway.
But I will say, right? Talking about oh my God, that voice crack. That's what happens when I get to talk about Takeshita. I lose all sense. Takeshita in the middle of that match was throwing niggas around like it was nothing. I can't remember. I think he had OC on his back, and he absolutely whooping everybody. And he don't even look like he's trying. My God.
I am not proud to say what I was feeling during that match. I think I might have moaned. Like, there was a stretch in that match. I said, Konosuke Takeshita, this is insane. You need to be locked behind a paywall. They need to put you behind a paywall because they can't put this on regular. This is too hot for TV. They can't let you around.
It's too hot.
Right? Konosuke Takeshita, your swag too different. Your bitch too bad.
They're gonna kill you. Look, I will say, I'm not proud of the person that I was. I'm not proud of the person that I was for that little stretch when he was just throwing everybody around. I was like, let me refocus.
There's only, when I say there are only probably, there's 3. Actually, I'd say there's 4 men in existence who I put on that tier to where I lose all like frame of thinking. And it's not just because of their looks, it's also because they're like the best wrestlers like ever. Yeah. That's Kenny, that's Hangman, that's Takeshita, and the 4th man is a man that we got to see tonight.
Yeah.
Wow! The neighbors up, bitch. I said, wait up. I want the baddest heifers in the Owen.
The floor.
I want the baddest heifers in the Owen.
This Owen is going to be absolutely
orgasmic.
It's going to be insane. And Pac announcing that he's going to be in it too. Oh my God, bro. And I think it's really crazy because we talked about like last year, you know, we talked about the Continental Classic and just how big that tournament was and how whatever. The Owen has always been good. This year,
it's not.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. I feel very strongly about this.
Are we talking about men's or women's?
I would say women's. The women's has always been a good show. Listen. Hear me.
Maybe in the later rounds, but the early rounds.
The women's has been a good showcase, and I would argue a good overall opportunity because you weren't getting a lot of women's time in general. So I mean a good thing as terms of like idea.
Okay, like, yeah. I mean, last year did have Willow versus Athena in like the second, third round.
Went crazy.
Was amazing, yeah.
But no, so I would say for the women's division was overall helpful because it meant that there were more women on TV. And unfortunately, that was the bar. Like that was the standard that you were trying to get. Not even caliber as a match as even to be considered. The men's has always had potential. And I think that this year will break the seal on that. I have always wanted the Owen to be a little bit bigger. And I think it hasn't necessarily made a whole lot of sense in terms of like what you get. And it hasn't made a whole lot of difference in terms of how you're booked coming out of it. Mm-hmm. I am very hopeful that this year will be, like I said, the year that the Owen comes to fruition and all that it actually can be. And looking at this fucking roster, my God.
I would like to say that it was a very special woman who tweeted a couple months ago and said that this year the winners of the Owen Hart tournament should get world title matches at All In. And I think a lot of people called this special woman crazy and said this would never happen and they'll never do it. And then look, it happened. And I think her name was Lyric or something. Like, I tweeted this. You called me. What pause? Which IWC said they want Natalie Neidhart to win the Owen Hart Cup? Respectfully, I respect your family. I respect all that you do. I think that Natty is going to be like, should get like a fat coaching contract. You ain't earned shit over here, respectfully. And so, like, I've never heard it. I've never seen it. I've never seen no discourse like that. I don't plan on it. I would just like to say, I told y'all that what we need to amp this up. AEW is heading kind of almost in that New Japan lane. Guess what? Owen Hart Cup, that's New Japan Cup. Continental Classic, that's G1. You have your single elimination tournament. You got your round robin. And I think that that's a great idea. They called me a madman. I told you. I told y'all. This has the possibility of being the greatest single elimination tournament on American soil, men and women's. And I'm not going to lie. I think what I've been so frustrated with the women's tournament is because of that Ring of Honor women's television title tournament was a glimpse into what women's wrestling should be. And if you didn't get to watch it, it's worth the $9.99 itself. It's really worth the $9.99 itself. That Ring of Honor women's television world title tournament was the best booked women's tournament I've seen. Every single match was important. And I think that even the women involved of just like that Red Velvet versus Queen Aminata match is still going to make my year-end list because that was crazy. The final, Aminata versus Billy, crazy. Red Velvet versus Sandra Moon. Heat. The women did what needed to be done. Billy Starks versus Mercedes Martinez. And the AEW women's roster has not been able to produce a tournament of the same quality. But guess what? We're finally here. I feel very, very, I feel very excited. Like, I feel very excited about this because, like, I think that at the end of the day, I don't believe that you should pay attention to like what other companies are doing, etc. But guess what? A lot of people talking greasy saying that they own pro wrestling and that they're bringing pro wrestling back. With a roster like that, you better fight back. You better show them what some wrestling is. And they have the roster to prove it. And based off the entrance that we're already seeing,
my God,
like good God, like and they're not finished. They're not even finished. It's like real hoopers, only truly the baddest heifers on the floor.
Chris Jericho will also be there.
You know, we need somebody to eat a pin. He better be out first round, though.
If he makes it out the first round, AEW, check your mailbox.
But excellent. We're going to talk more about the Owen. It probably in a minute because I have things to say about Shingo Takagi. I didn't mean to start now, guys. I just got so excited. Woo! But that 6-man match, I love a good all-star tag. Listen, Undisputed Kingdom and Don Callis family looks good together. That I like that. I like that. Roddy, well, maybe not Undisputed Kingdom, but Roddy would look nice. Roddy, Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher.
And Kyle Fletcher getting the pin was surprising to me.
Kyle Fletcher is listen.
And a good thing.
Takeshita, I feel like, is Kenny's chosen next person. And I think Kyle Fletcher is Ospreay's chosen next person. Yep. It's very clear that they are the expectation of the people who, you know, that next wave of, you know, the leaders of AEW is very clear. And also Roddy Strong, listen, I can't believe they had you in a wheelchair yelling, "Ow!" It was funny as hell. But this is a dog.
A real, and look, I've been trying to wake it up. Because I think some of y'all forgot. He's like that.
He's really like that. Like, Roddy Strong in 2024 has been disgusting. Like, oh my God. If Bryan Danielson hasn't literally tried to kill himself for the first half of the year, Roddy, you might have my vote for Wrestler of the Year. And honestly, there's still time. Like, he's been putting in work. And also, he's been picking up indies again, guys. Oh my God. If you haven't seen it yet, that Fuminori Abe match from Deadlock Pro. Wow. Beautiful, amazing, 10 out of 10. The only thing I didn't like about it is I think it should have been a sanctioned AEW International title match, but that's neither here nor there. But this was great. We had so much fun.
I just want to say really quickly, I would drain the Pacific Ocean with a straw for you if it came down to it.
Sister, I heard you say I would drink. I didn't know what you.
Whoa!
I didn't know what you
about that kind of show.
I just want you to know though, because I thought you were about to say it, and I was prepared to stick beside you. I want you to know, like, you know, when we talk about that 0.01 where I don't stick beside you, this was not one of those times.
I appreciate that.
I was prepared to stick beside you. Like, I would, like, if you went all the way there, I just want you to know you would not have been alone, because like literally Takeshita in this match, I started thanking God. I started praising God. I felt moved by the spirit. Good God. Like, that is crazy. This man is crazy. Y'all letting him out the house like this? This is crazy.
And he just seems to, it's just crazy. And we will move on. But y'all know me. Takeshita
gets at least 10 minutes on this show every
at least. And we already got our Kenny Omega mention in. It's part of the brand. But no, Takeshita, I feel like what's particularly impressive about him and is just that the in-ring never lacks.
Never.
So we sit up here and we talk about, the way that he's booked and like, his relationships to these other characters. He, from the day that he stepped foot in AEW, has not missed, has not had a standout bad match. And especially since beating Kenny, it's just insane to me that we've yet to actually find some direction for him. And I'll preach it till the cows come home, because that doesn't work for me, brother.
Because in what world do you pin Kenny Omega twice in a week and not become world champion afterwards? Like,
it means nothing.
Let's be for real.
It meant nothing. Are you serious?
I will say, I do need them to like redo that whole feud though, because I think that there's more juice in that orange, but they just got to get away from Don Callis. Like, I think that was the problem too, of just when Takeshita beat Kenny, it felt like he was just Don Callis's muscle beating him on behalf of Don Callis rather than actually beating him for himself. And I think that was the biggest problem. And so I think that they obviously have to run it back. I think one match was clearly not enough. So it is what it is. So we next, what do we have next? What was after that? Oh my gosh, yes, I do know. After that match, everybody started fighting afterwards, and then suddenly we hear Willow Nightingale's music. Everybody's like, oh. Then suddenly Chris stopped, dropping roll her ass out there and just beating on her, and Stokely Hathaway, listen here. What you're not going to do, you keep your filthy hands off of Willow and her new good bundles. Okay?
That part.
Also,
you know how expensive that hair is?
Hello,
you wouldn't know because you're bald.
And I'm not gonna lie, she got some good stuff too. Like, that's some thick quality. Like, at least it seems like at least 200 density. That's some good stuff.
She didn't get that from the store, baby. That's
not pack hair, beloved. That's not pack hair. Yes, okay. She's on you nice, okay? Keep it cute. all of our white viewers, that went over their heads. They have no idea what we were talking about.
Womp womp.
But also, seriously, Willow and Stat. And somebody said this, shout out to Rich Lotta over on One Nation Radio. Who specifically said a lot of people are going to be upset after Double or Nothing, when Willow lost, but they need to understand that Willow Nightingale gained more at Double or Nothing than just about anybody else. Yeah. She walked out of there with not one, but two generational rivals. And it just shows, even if you saw like when she pulled up, and like the other day was, I forgot if that was Dynamite or Collision, like when she pulls up with her suitcase rolling in, takes the glasses off, that's a superstar. Like, that's a superstar.
And the biggest pop of the night when she came.
That's a superstar, face of the division,
and it girl, if I've ever seen one.
It girl, and also Stat is working as a killer. Like, as much as I love her, and as much as like I am really glad that they made likes private so I can really like all her pictures in pieces now. Guys, like, no, she really doing some really fucked up shit. What? How could you do what? Saturday night? Y'all was sisters. I started hearing, you know what, in my head, I started hearing, it's all over from Dreamgirls. I was your sister, and now you're telling me it's all over. that's how I felt. That's how I felt. Like, Stat, you need to stop. Get away from that bald bitch. That bald-headed demon. Stokely.
You know what you did.
Trust. You will be dealt
You will
with.
be dealt with.
You will be dealt with. But I mean, shout out to these women. That's why I said earlier, I don't see why you wait for a women's blood and guts, especially when you have them. Like, I don't think that Willow Mercedes was the appropriate feud to hinge it on. Because, like, I think that it was more so of more proving yourself rather than blood feud.
Yeah.
Willow and Chris is a blood feud. And so, listen, Chris, I would say you pull in Deanna, you pull in Anna Jay, because Anna Jay, say whatever you want about her, she got a lot of
work in. She
got
putting in
a
that
lot
work.
of street fight experience. You put Sky Blue, spooky ass in there. You know she down to set some shit on fire. And then Willow, you take Thunder Rosa because you know she done bled before. You know how she gets down. Thunder Rosa. Who else could?
I'm throwing Mariah in there.
No.
I am. I sure am.
But the thing is, I don't think they would mix that story. But then, like, you know,
no.
Honestly,
I don't even mean from a storyline perspective. I just mean let's fight.
I will say though, if she is in there, I think by Forbidden Door, after Forbidden Door, I think Mariah's gonna be a heel. I think she might be a heel because I think I'm not gonna lie. We can get into that. I think y'all, she's about to turn. She's about to turn. That's why when I saw that promo, she already moving. She moving weird. Like she's already moving.
She is moving weird.
And after Forbidden Door with Mina, I think that it's gonna start coming to the head.
My thing is, I think she is going to turn. I think that I think it depends on whether or not she's a heel. Depends on how long Mina sticks around, because I think it's going to be hard to present on US TV to present Club Venus as heels. I think people are going to want to root for them together. So
I think to an extent, but also I kind of don't, just because I think that Mariah and Mina kind of feel, even though like they feel like a unit, they also kind of feel like separate characters. I think it's because like Mariah's doing so much back and forth. She's essentially being two different people at one time and balancing out. And also, when she been moving it recently, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but like she commented on the AEW page. She said, "Y'all have Mina looks beautiful in this header."
Yeah,
and she responded after she said, "Oh, Tony too." And even when you saw like that backstage segment today, I think, you know what, we could put a pin in this because I think we'll know more next week, because apparently she's supposed to be setting up the sit down,
the contract signing,
Tony and Mina. So I think that maybe we'll get more insight. But Mariah moving weird, like she moving.
I wouldn't want my friends to do what she's doing.
And also, my thing is, I don't think you can put Mariah May in Blood and Guts without putting Toni Storm also in Blood and Guts. And I just don't see timeless.
See, I think that you can, because I would have Toni Storm be so affected and so morose following.
See, here's the
Mariah
thing.
turn.
This is the problem.
Goes away for a little bit.
This is the problem, because typically, even though you bring in so many different people, right, for Blood and Guts, and at the end of the day, it typically hinges on one storyline. And I think that Willow and Stat have their storyline, and I think that Tony and Mariah have their storyline, and it's two different vibes. Like, it's just two completely different vibes. Willow and Stat is blood feud, like that's blood feud, and then Tony and Mariah, that's love triangle. These two completely different.
That's why I wouldn't have Tony have anything to do with it. And you just further cement Mariah as like a certified killer by her participation in Blood and Guts as a standalone character.
Here's the thing. I would love to see Mariah May in Blood and Guts. Deathmatch Barbie. I think she would be fantastic. But especially, you got to think, even when it is just one storyline in everybody's face, people always already act so confused on the women's division. I don't think Megan Bain debut. I will say, I do think that that's a spot for a debut. It doesn't have to be Megan, but I'd put Megan or Camille in there to have like a one like just
wild card.
Because I don't think that's a match where you need like the best quote unquote wrestlers. You need girls who look cool, like imposing figures. Like I said, Anna Jay is perfect for this match. Is she the best wrestler? No. but in hardcore matches, she gets down. She gets
Who's
down.
gonna get down?
She gets down. And so, yeah, I think that there's just a lot of, I think that they need to keep it singular. And especially keep in mind, we're doing this for the first time. This is the first Women's Blood and Guts ever.
Also, they haven't announced it. We are saying this.
I really want to just start just talking about it like it's actually happening because I think that the division's finally in a place for it. I think it finally makes sense. And so we'll keep going. And so I think that Willow and Stat is the perfect feud because last year we didn't have it, especially once Jamie Hayter got, knocked out after Double or Nothing had to drop the title. And we didn't have that feud that what can we build this around? We finally have that. Like I think we finally have that to be able to do it. Yeah, and like when Britt and Rosa were doing their thing, it was just them one-on-one. So I feel like we finally have that feud.
It's time.
So, it's time. And so I'm just going to keep talking about it like it's happening. And Billionaire, you better get it the fuck together.
Billionaire, you need to fucking listen to us, first of all right?
Well, clearly he does, because honestly, respectfully, some of these booking decisions, especially long term, it's come straight out of my mouth and your mouth.
I know. Sometimes I look at them, I'm like, I don't know if me and the Billionaire are co-geniuses or if he's just really a fan.
And then I see all these Jericho segments and I'm like, I did not do that.
Okay.
And
yeah.
so yeah, I did
well,
not
you can't make it too obvious. Can't make
we
it too obvious.
We can't make it too obvious. Yes. But that was fun. That was wait, no, it wasn't fun. Chris Statlander, you need to stop. Then we had the vignette I loved, and I will say, as much as I love this does go back to what you were saying about there's a lot going on right now. Because when I saw a video package of Shingo Takagi, I immediately thought
Forbidden Door
match for Forbidden Door. But what I think may happen is because, and if you look at Forbidden Door in years past, or at least last year, the goal was they were supposed to the Owen Hart Cup, the opening round at Forbidden Door. So what I think is that Shingo versus Dragon, Dragon versus Dragon is going to be a Owen Hart Cup opening round match. So I think that's what's going to happen.
And the loser has to marry a donkey like in Shrek.
Or the loser, especially if it's Shingo Takagi, you can just marry me.
Oh. You could do that too. Why would that be a loser thing? The winner.
No, I'm just saying, I think, Shingo's going to lose the match. That's why.
Oh, okay. So you're like, regardless of the result, I want Shingo to come.
Right. Yes. Well, yes. So this is amazing. Listen, I have been hoping, one, for Bryan versus Shingo, but Shingo Takagi has talked about, he said, you know what? I'll be doing it. And also, I'm not going to lie, New Japan don't be treating him right. So I would love for him to spend a month in AEW, have some cool matches. And he's talking about winning that too. So Shingo, I want you to know, do not be shy. If you lose this match, come try again in the Continental Classic. We got a spot waiting for you. We'd love to have you. You have a home here. You will never be alone.
You don't have to call ahead.
That's a good point. So last year, the Forbidden Door did start the Owen. So Athena versus Billy was on 0 Hour, which is true. And then CM Punk versus Kojima was on the main card. Absolutely. That is correct. So that makes sense. So I think Shingo versus Danielson is going to be an opening round. Did something bad happen?
No, I was scrolling on Twitter and I realized somebody said that Christian Cage is holding a Father's Day special on the 15th, which is also the anniversary of the death date of Buddy Wayne. This is a sick man. This is a sick man.
He don't have them people standing up behind. That is a sick man.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Man was sick.
Oh my god. I just saw that. I was like,
oh. Christian Cage, I'm not gonna lie. That collision card for this weekend is fucking fantastic. I want to say this, but nothing interests me more on that card than this Father's Day special because I got to see what this motherfucker is.
Oh my God. I was already worried. That information
I'm
concerns me
terrified.
greatly.
I'm terrified, bro, because I don't know what the fuck is he about to make them say. What is he about to make Nick and Shayna say? What are they gonna do? Like, y'all, this could go so bad. And I think, oh God, that is crazy. That is nuts. That is nuts.
Like,
He we gotta do something about Christian Cage, y'all.
He cannot keep getting away with this.
Y'all, crazy. Oh, that's a sick man with sick thoughts, man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail. I
God.
saw that. I said, I can't. That
don't hold it in. Don't hold it in. So we Shingo Takagi and Owen, everybody, God bless America. Next, we had like a brief thing with Renee backstage checking on Rey Fenix before the match. We'd like to remind folks, today, Rey Fenix and Kenny Omega are the only men to hold a singles, tag, and trios championship at AEW. Just want to throw it out there for everybody.
And it shouldn't change anytime soon.
Trying to think. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I do think it should change eventually because I think Hangman should be the next one.
Oh, Hangman is the exception.
Give him a trio. I want him to have a trios run. Have him say Brian Keith get Bandito and they can be my bandits. I like that.
Yeah.
We need them trios though. I'm trying to think who else could reasonably do that because that would require AEW to book big time wrestlers and tag teams again. And so who knows? Maybe Daniel Garcia down the line. You know?
Let's settle with one. All right. Let's build for DG. Goddamn.
We gotta work on one. We gotta do one. But
speaking of, I just want to talk about the DG, squash really quick.
Let's talk about that.
Oh my God. Don't wear that outfit again. It really, really was distracting.
Hey, listen. I did not know that I would enjoy this return to trunks this much.
I did.
I would also like to say that I think that this also
the crop top. Sure.
It also goes back to what you were saying before about there being a lot going on. Because what the hell was MJF? Yes, why the fuck is MJF and Ospreay watching Garcia matches like he got a belt? Like he got a belt. Like here's the thing. I'm not going to complain about it because it makes him feel like a big deal. I don't know what they're cooking. They cooking something with him. I don't know what they're cooking, but they cooking something. But I said, oh, he's really in his It Boy era. I said, look at everybody watching him. I said, oh my God.
And he tweeted, he was like, all eyes on me. That's for sure.
Well, yes.
That's
all eyes on me, and I'm gonna sit it up a pot. Hey, I'm gonna
see champ music, and I want that the ox. Yeah. So I mean, the Ospreay thing I think makes a little bit more sense because he said that you wanted to go after the international title. What the fuck is MJF doing here?
You know what? I have a very, 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 very wild theory. Very wild part theory. This could be far off, and I'm not saying that I want this to happen at all, but I think that MJF and Daniel Garcia could be partners eventually.
No.
Here's the thing: you have to think. Let's go back, right to last year when everybody was talking about, oh, we need to restore the feeling and put this, build the company back up after Punk left, right? And they did that photo shoot of the young generation. That was largely who? MJF, and it really started with Dan Garcia, and then MJF tried to take credit for it. And so Max negotiated the to have DG have that world title match on Dynamite. Let's remember. And so I think that they're going to turn back heel together. And so here's the thing. I don't hate it if it means that they actually get some gold. Because one, we killed two birds with one stone. We get Daniel Garcia some gold, and we keep Max out of the title picture. Putting him in the tag division is not a bad idea. Now, is he selfless enough to actually do it and not see it as a downgrade? Because I don't think it is a downgrade. And I think you see what it did for Hangman's career. I think it's amazing.
But I think the problem that you're gonna have with that is that we spent so long with Better Than You, baby, that it's character-wise doesn't make any sense at all for him to trust another person in any time soon. Like, no. So I think that would be hard to do anytime in the near.
But I don't think. Here's the thing. But do they? But that's the thing. I don't think that their relationship would be built on quote unquote trust. It's not meant to be friendship. It's meant to be
business.
For Daniel Garcia, he's tried going good, right? And he's gotten no benefits from it. MJF has been bad most of his career and ended up being the youngest world champion in history. He is trying to win. They both have something to learn from each other in a sense. And I think that honestly it can make Max a lot more bearable long term.
Put DG and Takeshita together if you're not gonna do anything with either one of them.
Hey, listen, we still waiting for Tabata. And then let alone Takeshita. We still wait for him. And then I will say, I think it's kind of weird because Shibata is just such an it boy. He's caught between two different teams right now.
Everybody wants him.
They need, somebody need a cameraman, and then DG needs a mentor. He's just so many options.
He's just so busy. He's so booked and busy.
He's so booked and busy. But like I said, I think that there's room down the line. I think I would be interested. I think that is one thing that you could do to make me interested in MJF, at least somewhat. Putting him in the tag division. I think, listen, AEW has not really tried it, not for real, and I don't count Better Than You, baby, because they just misused the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships, but they haven't really tried it for real since Kenny and Hangman. I feel like you need that established, semi-established talent because Kenny was still new to American TV. Established talent versus up-and-comer who hasn't won the big one yet. I think it's a pairing that it's a dynamic that has historically worked for them, but they haven't really tried it again. And I think it's because the roster's gotten so stagnant. And then like I said, there's this misconception that being in a tag team is somehow a downgrade. And I don't think it has to be, So not saying that I want it. I'm just saying that could be the rationale of why he was watching DG, because here's the thing, there has to be some type of rationale because Max does not have a title right now. So why the fuck else would he be watching Daniel Garcia?
Because he thinks that he will. Or because he is going to get involved in the international title picture.
Well, he is.
The common factor is DG, who's looking like the next feud for that. So looking 2 steps ahead. That's what I'm hoping for. But I mean, I digress. At the end of the day, don't really care.
I think that DG is going to have an international title match in 2 weeks because Dynamite is in Buffalo. I think he gets his international title match. Yes. So there's that. Probably. Shout out to Daniel Garcia. Next, we had the women's match on the show. Mercedes versus Zeuxis. Listen, I would like to say this first. That crowd was hot the entire night and then went during the women's match.
You guys are losers.
You're losers. You're getting Mercedes Moné on national television versus a CMLL luchadora. Get the fuck up.
Get the fuck up. Ain't nobody fucking playing with you, bro.
No.
And some of the shit that you were seeing was so inventive and so creative, especially compared to some of the other shit that you see on a week-to-week television basis. Are you serious? Get up!
Bro, I even said this. Mercedes' moveset is so, unique to the point to where some of the stuff that she does on a regular basis is stuff that most of the women's roster has not even attempted before. And also, hey, Zeuxis, listen, you got that dog in you. You was beating my mother up. I mean, you were smacking her around, especially in that picture break. Good
when
God,
they went to the outside, that dive on the outside.
I don't know what some of these moves was called. I don't even know what these moves was called. And also, I'm not gonna lie, as good as this lady was, bro, Mercedes, Stephanie finna whoop your ass. Stephanie finna whoop her ass. Stephanie's finna whoop her ass.
If y'all thought Mercedes was getting ragdolled and selling this match, Stephanie go mark this lady.
Like, that match is going to be 80% Stephanie offensively, and it's going to be fucking awesome. Because when she did that thing, when she like the foot lifted up and then the knees, and then Mercedes fell out, she sold that like she got hit by a truck. I said, oh, she's about to give us a generational performance. I said at Forbidden Door, I said my mother's gonna make us think she was dead. Y'all, this is going to be crazy. Like, this is going to be absolutely crazy. Like, this is going to be crazy. I will say this sold me. I was already sold. But guys, it's about to get real. It's about to get so real. It's about to get so amazing. It's going to get so awesome. So awesome. So
it's going to be so awesome. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so amazing. We love it so much.
So amazing. I didn't even, also, that thing she was wearing, I didn't even know she could wrestle in that. I thought that was just something cute that she wore on her Dynamite.
Me too. I kept waiting for her to take it off. I was like,
I didn't know that was ring gear. She's so incredible. She's so generational. Oh my God, her mind. I do think that we see Stephanie wrestle on Dynamite before Forbidden Door. I do. Somebody asked that. I do. And also, I would like to say this.
I think we're more likely to see it on a Collision.
That's fine. I'll take it. I'll be there. They're in the room.
I'm seated. Me too.
I would also like to say this. There's been a lot of talk on social media, somewhat in this comments, etc., about the show being built. It feels like the whole division now is being built around Mercedes, and oh my God, everything is all about Mercedes. Yes, correct. And the thing is, well, yes. I don't know any other way.
I'm out the loop. I'm like, that's people are saying that.
The division is being built around two women, Toni Storm and Mercedes Moné, and they both deserve it. They both deserve it. And there's no other way around it. Then go ahead.
And I think I just don't think we're being completely honest if we're saying that we think that AEW and the women's division has turned into like the Mercedes Moné show. We have more going on in the women's division than we've had going on maybe ever in that division, as far as storylines, caliber, TV time, and talent.
And complex factors of actually knowing. I know all the women in the division right now.
So I don't want to hear that at all. And look,
Mercedes
again, like you said, you do have certain key players that you build things around. And by God, if there was ever going to be one, it should be Mercedes Moné.
Correct. And I mean, and think about what she's done in such a short period of time. One, the signing of Jennifer Pepperman, in a sense of, if you haven't noticed, if anybody hasn't noticed, in the past few months, women's storylines have been the most cohesive on the show. As far as point A to point B, you might not have to like everything, but as far as things making sense and everything,
I see where everybody's coming from.
Exactly. Everything has a reason. Everything has a rhyme. And honestly, the women's storylines are a little bit more consistent than a lot of the men's right now. If we want to keep it completely above, we knew, and it shows, especially in the build to Forbidden Door. There's a reason why in the first couple matches announced were the women's matches, and let's just be real, had a better the Swerve versus Ospreay doesn't have half the build that the two women's matches have. We had a clear idea of what Forbidden Door was going to look like months ago from the women. We've known since WrestleMania weekend, essentially, that Toni Storm's opponent was going to be Mina Shirakawa. And we knew that Forbidden Door, that it was a huge possibility that Mercedes will be competing for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. And the fact that it's Stephanie Vaquer, guess what? That goes back over a year to New Japan Resurgence. Yep. Just like what other feud brings me to Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale is 10 times the star that she was 2 months ago. And it's not that Mercedes made her. Absolutely not. It's just the fact that Mercedes brings a lot of eyes. She brings a lot of attention. And so anybody who's a part of that attention gets elevated in the process. It goes back to that New Japan Strong Women's Tournament. Guess what? Nobody really knew who Stephanie Vaquer was before that night. Let's just be real. Nobody really knew who she was for that night unless you were just a CMLL diehard. Coming out of that, she ends up being like one of the most highly anticipated international stars in the world. Willow Nightingale went into that tournament as essentially a pin eater. A pin eater. She just had gotten signed. She got her All Elite graphic at the end of 2022. So by May of 2023, she's nobody in the division. Of course, she's loved. She's a great baby face, but she's loved. She's loved. And so she does this tournament. Her entire life changes. She goes from essentially being AEW lower card person who competes for the TBS title 4 times and loses to Jade every single time, to winning the New Japan Strong Women's Championship, to going and what does she do? Oh, goes to Forbidden Door, only women's match on the card. Goes to New Japan Strong Independence Day and wrestles Julia. She ends up going to the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. Owen Hart Women's Tournament. She wins the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. She then becomes the first woman to main event a Ring of Honor pay-per-view with Athena mere months after she becomes the first woman to main event a New Japan pay-per-view. And then a year later, comes full circle, wrestles Mercedes again, first women to ever get main event billing for an AEW show. Money changes everything. Period. That's all to it. And so guess what? If it is title for title. Mercedes should win. Mercedes should win. Willow's success is not by accident. Anyway, Mercedes should win the New Japan Strong Women's title. And it's not because just the title was made for her, but think about what she could do with that belt. And also, if you watch New Japan, if you've been keeping up with Stephanie Vaquer's reign, she's beating everybody.
There's nothing left to do.
There's really nothing left for her to do with that belt. We know she's a badass. Nobody else. She's done everything with it. She took it. She's been 3 belt stuff. She's beating everybody. She knocked Julia in the head. She's beating everybody. She's beating the best. She's beating the best of Stardom at the time. She's beating the Stardom. She's beating the best of the Indies. She's beating the best of the UK. She's done it. Like she's done it. She deserves to, at the end of the day, she's elevated in defeat. And guess what? When Mercedes is going to get this win at Forbidden Door, and Stephanie's going to get a win in Arena Mexico. When my GOAT Mercedes goes to Arena Mexico and wrestles in CMLL. Because what do you think this is? Monet is about to go on a world tour. It's already very clear. The vision is set. She's going to Stardom. She's going to CMLL. She's going everywhere. Period.
True.
And so that's all I would say. Keep it cute. So this was good. Shout out to the women's division, man. What do we have after this? Oh my gosh, that was the backstage segment with Mariah May and Tony. Y'all, Mariah moving wicked. Mariah moving real wicked. I don't even think she liked Tony for real. I don't.
That's what it's giving. Or it's like you were cool, but you're not her, is what it is.
No, absolutely. And I think also too from me personally, my first Stardom live show was the debut of Club Venus. Was the night that Mina came back and brings Mariah and stuff in. So like I feel really personally attached. And that relationship was so genuine. Like their relationship was so, and it is very genuine because you can tell it comes from a very organic place of just like, you know, I feel like Tony and Mariah work and they've been amazing, but you can tell like they've been put together kind of via storyline. And you can tell Mariah and Mina's connection feels very real. Very real. It just feels very authentic. It feels like we hang out outside work type shit. Like, you know, Empress Nexus Vena was Mina, Mariah, and Zaya Brookside. No, it was not. Club Venus was Mina, Mariah, and Zaya Brookside. Empress Nexus Venus happened later after Mariah ends up leaving Stardom. And so she forms a whole new faction with Micah after Donna Del Mondo, Micah's original faction, gets disbanded on January 4th at the Itanyan Stardom Gate show at Tokyo Dome City Hall. So yeah. But yeah, so I just think that this just feels so legit. Also, that video package of Mina, amazing. Amazing. She said, and Mina's always sexy. I said, girl, we want Mina. And here's the
so wake it up, girl.
I would also like to say I want to have this conversation early because it's going to happen, and it's going to happen several times. Mina Shirakawa is going to be all elite by this time next year. I don't think that 100%. You have to be living under a rock to think otherwise. And some of you are going to try to go on a rant and be like, oh my gosh, they're talent poaching from Stardom. Let's be real. From people who have actually watched Stardom, Stardom has never treated Mina how she deserves. Stardom has never handled Mina correctly. And that's under Rossi and even under the new booking of Tara Okada. Like, I do think she's being booked now more as like an international face of Stardom, like with partner companies, but she was never treated as top girl. When Mina finally finishes her story at All-Star Grand Kingdom and finally gets her revenge against Saya Kamatani and won the white belt, what happened? Guess what? They ended up making her drop the title after one defense within, I think, was it a month? To Tam Nakano, who's already the World of Stardom champion, to become double belted. So Tam could drop the white belt to Mariah, who was Rossi's golden goose, just for her to end up going to Marigold. So they never did right by Mina. And I'm gonna be real, and this is keeping a buck. And there's a problem with this too. AEW has done better by Mina than they've done most of the women on their own roster, and they damn sure did better by Mina than Stardom ever did, and in a much shorter amount of time too. So there's that. So before we get out of this way, Mina was made for this. She was made for American television. She'll tell you that herself. Like I've never seen, it's a lot of people who say they want these opportunities, but for her to get the opportunity and rise to the occasion the way that she did on day one, she's ready. She deserves it. She makes it. And I hope she gets a lot of dollars. I think that Mina's still locked in a contract with Stardom. I don't think that they just gonna buy her out of a contract. She's definitely still locked.
But I think it's inevitable.
Yeah, once that contract is up, and also, if anybody's ever looked it up, like Mina's a bit older than everybody else. And so, I'm not saying like she's gonna retire next year, but she's older than everybody else, and so whatever making big decisions about her career. And whatever comes next, it's going to happen quickly. Like it's going to happen within the next year of whatever her next step is, that's her next step. And so if there was ever a time for her to make the jump, it's now. So really glad that we had this talk. I'm sure I'm going to have to explain this to some people a million times again between now and next year. But
don't worry.
It's a start.
We're always willing to circle back.
Absolutely. And I always have receipts for you. 20 Storm, they finna jump you. I think you need to get some friends. I ain't gonna lie. They look in their eye. I think they finna jump you.
Set you up, girl.
I think they finna jump you. Next was the Jericho segment. I can't tell you anything about it. I had the volume all the way down. I know nothing.
The only thing that I know
he's doing the only. That's it.
I don't care about that. All I know, every time they're on my screen for the next at least 3 days, it's just a constant. Oh my God, is that Private Party? I can't stop saying it.
Yeah. Sit down.
And so I always have a love-hate relationship when they come out because I do love Private Party. But I'm like, everybody's gonna get so sick of me. Because I'll be at work. Just
shots.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie. I got Private Party shit saved in my Apple Music library. No joke. I'll be playing it. I do. That shot song get me hyped. It does.
And you live your truth.
I have a playlist full of wrestling songs. A lot of them I don't like add to my actual library, but when I'm in that mood, I do play them. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's my truth, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And then next, also speaking of Stephanie Vakirgon, did you know that her and Shingo went on a secret date? Like they went on a secret
date. They also tweeted about it like an hour ago, so I don't think it's that secret.
No, they've been tweeting about it this morning. So he filmed some of it for his YouTube channel.
Oh, I didn't know.
Like there's video. It's kind of it was cute. It was cute. I didn't understand. Like I'm not gonna lie. I was like, instead of just one language I don't understand, is two. But you know Spanish, so I think you would understand it better. Yeah. So I think
maybe I'll look at it. Translate for the people.
Maybe you should look at it. Yeah, we already covered the Mercedes Zeuxis match. But next we had a promo backstage from Bullet Club Gold. Speaking of which, they've been going by Bang Bang Gang recently, but Juice had on that Bullet Club shirt specific. I don't know if that has forbidden
Jay White said he in his promo, his most recent promo, he was using them interchangeably, but on the graphics and stuff, you've been seeing Bang Bang Gang. So yeah, so I clocked that too, but it wasn't just tonight.
I mean, yes,
but I do think it was interesting that it was Juice because he's a quarter of the trio's champs.
Yes, but what I'm saying is like recent weeks, especially, I feels like in this Forbidden Door cycle, they've been using Bullet Club Gold again. And before this pay-per-view cycle, they weren't using it at all. They were even referring to themselves as the Bang Bang Gang, especially before Juice came back. They were not. I didn't hear the words Bullet Club Gold come out of their mouth for months. So
I don't think it's been that long since they stopped using it.
It has. They stopped for a while.
I feel like they've been using it interchangeably for.
I just haven't heard them say Bullet Club.
But honestly,
I was just saying. I just wonder if it has Forbidden Door implications. But they will be facing House of Black for the trios belts on Collision for the first anniversary, which I think is very fitting. Well, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea. Well, I'm not sure. I'm not really excited about the House of Black part. I'm not, but I am excited that the Bang Bang Gang is defending. One, because I love that they are using the Freebird rule with the belts. Like I love that they're using the Freebird rules because I think, I'm not gonna lie, Jay White needs to kind of get away from the trios thing in a sense, and I think Juice is like a really great way to get out of that and stay in the Bullet Club Gold mix. So I think that's great because I think that if we think about especially those early first 2 months of Collision, Juice Robinson held that show together. Like he's the reason why he was the Collision Playboy of the Month. It's
Employee of the Month every month.
Collision, Bullet Club Gold really held Collision together for a very long time, and I think that them being on the what did you say that? What did you say that?
Sorry, go
I think them being on the Collision first anniversary show is very fitting, and so I'm excited about it. I think that is great. And what was the second thing? What was the second thing that I was excited about? I don't know. I can't remember what the second thing was. But Juice, I'm so happy to have you back. You're amazing. You're awesome. You're incredible.
Welcome home.
And also, it was great. We saw Cardplay again. It feels like it's been so long. It feels like they just feel like they're recapturing that initial charm that they first had. And so it's been super cool. Really glad to have Juice back. Next,
I don't particularly. I'll keep it quick. I don't particularly feel that. I mean, I think I'm over the Bang Bang Gang as trios champions. And maybe it's because Juice has been gone for so long, and now he's back, and like it definitely helps because, like you said, he's the glue that really held that together. But I mean, I'm kind of over them with the belts, and I think that tonight and the trios matches that we saw tonight, or the trios match that we saw tonight, like really kind of solidified to me, like, all right, cool, I want to get back to hooping.
But here's the thing:
in that division,
I don't think they're gonna hold the belts for long. That's why I'm not too particularly upset about it. There's a reason why I feel like we're starting to see more trios matches on TV again. I think there's a reason why they're heating up Hook, Shibata, and Samoa Joe. I don't think the Bullet Club Gold, I don't think they're going to hold the belts for much longer. And also, I think that whatever they do at Forbidden Door, it might be just a crazy multi-man plunder match, winner takes all type shit. I don't know.
I think that's what they should do.
Yeah, so I'm not particularly upset about it because I don't think that they're going to hold the belts for much longer. And I don't think they should. I think that it was good that they got the belts off the Acclaimed, and now we just got to get the belts off them, and then we really cooking. Like we semi-cooking right now that we got the belts off the Acclaimed, but we gonna really be cooking.
I feel like we ain't even turned the stove on yet, but
okay. Well, okay. What was what's next? Billy Goat versus Phoenix. Okay, we're at the end, guys. I don't know. This shit was fire. I don't know what else to tell you. I think that Will Ospreay is running he's doing the Orange Cassidy first international title playbook in the sense of this gradual, like, just his body breaking down. Like it seems like every match he has another different body part is either iced up, taped up. You love Konosuke Takeshita, we know. And so I think that he's doing that OC story, which is obviously probably going to be the angle for, him versus Swerve. And I do think that I like the injury angle. I do. I like it because it makes sense. Because honestly, if you've been watching this motherfucker wrestle this year, and not even just before Dynasty, if you go back to like that Michael Oku match, then that crazy ass cage match that from New Beginning in Osaka to Dynasty to Double or Nothing to all the Revolution to Dynasty to Double or Nothing and all the TV matches in between. Yeah, that body beat up. And it makes sense. Now, okay, go ahead. I'm not gonna start yet. I'm gonna let you go.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, I don't necessarily think, well, I didn't particularly pick up on like a heavy emphasis on the injury angle, but at the same time, I was so into this match.
I was just saying, like,
I mean, I did.
This is like the backstage.
I did, and I think that it's kind of like it makes perfect sense for that to be the thing. I would prefer just a straight up, this was above your head. You got in over your head storyline with jumping in with Swerve. I think it's both, though. See, that's what I'm saying, though. I don't think I would do the emphasis on the injury angle because I think that sort of undermines the idea that it kind of creates the idea that if he was full capacity, you never know. I think he should straight up get beat and then have to do the soul searching because he's not a killer, not using the storm driver.
Yes, correct. But I think it's a lot more. I think it's a lot more complex than that because I think that the injury is just a part of him biting off more than he can chew. Let's go back to earlier in the show. You got your eyes on Daniel Garcia as a future opponent, when meanwhile you have an actual opponent tonight for your title, but you're also got eyes on Swerve. And meanwhile, your body is taped up and you're covered in ice on this elbow and all this. Like, it's
That's
a lot
fair
of
enough.
yeah, like it's a more complex,
Overly ambitious.
Yes, it's overly ambitious, and also you just got here. And I think also what's subtle here, the subtle underlining that they probably never admit to, it goes back to that running from the grind storyline, right? This is Ospreay's first time on American TV. He probably thought shit was going to be sweet. He didn't expect it to be this hectic. He didn't expect this many people to be coming after him. He didn't expect to have to be doing so much at one time. And
but this is where the best wrestle.
Exactly. And Ospreay kind of came into AEW like, oh, I've been to Japan. I can do this. I can be amazing in this. I'm going to be the best on day one. To an extent, as a wrestler, yes. But being on American TV is not all just about being a wrestler. It's about being the complete performer. And
being in AEW specifically.
Exactly. And like we've talked about on this show,
okay, Ospreay
has shown that he can carry a match, but has he shown he can carry a legitimate feud? No. And also, it's just different. He hasn't yet forged some of these relationships with other members of the roster. He's still very much a beginner. And anybody who's super smart and anybody who's super ambitious and super talented, and I'm sure you'll probably like relate to this, like I think that I do as well, is that nobody wants to believe that we can't do everything. Like, what do you mean I'm only human? What do you mean that I can't do everything and be
limits?
Day one. Limits? What are those? And for somebody like Ospreay who constantly feels like he has something to prove, you have to think he has tried to fit, let's say, the Kenny Omega career in less than like 5 years. Essentially. You got to think he's 31. He's 31. So he's trying to think about Kenny didn't get on American television until he was what, 36? 36, I want to say. I think 36, yeah. Okada didn't make it on American television until 36. But Brian didn't make it on American television until his early 30s, but he was in WWE. He didn't make it to a place like AEW until he was, what, 42?
I mean, I think I hear what you're saying, but I also think that kind of goes back to our conversation of like having different markers of success. And so
absolutely. But I'm just saying,
I hear what you're saying. But I just kind of factor that in too.
Yes, and I agree. I'm just saying that in the context of his story, like Ospreay is just overly.
He's trying to do it all.
He wants it all. He genuinely believes that he can be AEW World Champion. He can be TNT Champion. He can be International Champion. He can win the Continental Classic this year. He can fly back over to Japan, win the world title. He can go to Rev Pro, win back the British Heavyweight Championship. He can go to Uganda.
And who gonna check him? The AEW roster, actually.
Actually, his doctor is going to check him. The athletic trainer's office is going to check him. So there's that. And so I think that's more so the story. He's been trying to because you have to think he's only technically been on the roster full time since late February. It's been less than 4 months, and he's trying to pack everybody else. Like he's trying to pack all these goals in so quickly. Keep in mind, Ospreay came into AEW at less than 100%. He wasn't 100% when he got here. Like, especially when you want to talk about health-wise, especially coming off of that crazy-ass steel cage match, Aaron Henare was out for months after getting his skull cracked open. That was the last match Alex Coughlin had before he retired. This is real shit, guys. And then, what did Ospreay do after having a match like that? He wrestles Konosuke Takeshita.
He clocked in.
He clocked in. He locked in, guys. And so, yes, it makes perfect sense for him to, like, it's like this total mental, physical, full-on disintegration, subtle disintegration. You want to know what's so funny about it? What it reminds me of? It reminds me a lot of Kenny. When you think about the belt collector era specifically, Kenny Omega was reaching incredible, impossible heights of his career. But guess what else was happening? His injuries started to catch up with him. And what was the last belt he watched?
I'll cry.
I'm just saying, the people need to hear it. What was the last belt that he lost before he eventually had to go out and, like, you know, finally take care of his injuries? And you can even tell in some of those last matches that he was in pain. Did he still give us amazing performances? Absolutely, because he's Kenny fucking Omega, duh. But he lost the AEW World Championship. That was the last belt that he lost. And so, like, it's like, and it's so funny because he blames Ospreay. That's why their next match is going to be so beautiful, because I think that Ospreay will finally be able to understand Kenny's perspective in a lot of things. Then Kenny always thought that Ospreay couldn't understand him and, like, what wasn't ready. And now he gets it. See, it all comes back to Kenny Omega at the end of the day.
It always does. But it makes sense though. We're not even stretching.
Absolutely.
We're not even stretching.
Yeah, we're not stretching at all.
Because I think get what you're saying. In the next, it'll unlock that next level of the feud where you're coming from a similar spot. But okay, we still have our differences.
Correct. And think about it. Just
because you still not me. Now you've been through all this shit, and now you've done all this shit, but you still not me.
Just like in New Japan. What did Ospreay say? He said, I feel like I can't ever really truly become the guy here because I'm still chasing your shadow and your ghost and what you did here. And in a way, in AEW, it's almost like he's trying to catch up. He's trying to become more influential than Kenny ever was overnight. I'm going to do it in 4 months. What it took you to do in this amount of time, I'm going to do it quicker. In a way, he's still chasing that shadow long term. So, yes, I digress.
I mean, last thing I'll say in relation to that, I understand it. I think that I get it. I really do. And I like the storyline. I do. Swerve Ospreay should not be happening at Forbidden Door.
Oh, well, yes. Correct. But we're here. And so for me personally, because, like, I really do actually want to see the match, I have decided to just make the best out of it. Just because I know what's happening. And there's nothing I could do about it. Is there other matches that I would have loved to see from both of them at Forbidden Door? Yes. But at this point, I've realized that.
And I understand that, and I agree, and that I know that the sense will bang. That I know that the match will bang. And I think, especially even considering, like, the standoff post-match, like, it's gonna be great. We all know that. At the same time, let me say, we gotta bully the billionaire sometimes and not forget. All right? Don't let the great matches make you forget that we shouldn't be doing this.
Don't cross the picket line. We cannot cross the picket line, y'all.
Remember what we're fighting for.
I will say, not gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you. I felt like I crossed the picket line, and I'm not gonna lie to you, because that post match, it felt like some, I don't know, it felt like some action movie type shit of just.
And I loved it. And I loved it.
And they did it in slow motion.
Who we are.
I sounded like Chris Tucker and Friday. I said, kill him. You gonna let him do it? He touched the belt. That's when everybody should know that Swerve was gonna win, because you know the AEW, whenever somebody touched the belt beforehand, like they're not gonna win.
You're done.
But it was just, I said, oh my god, this is crazy. This is some psycho shit, bro. Swerve started talking to that man. He sounded like Stephen A. Smith. Like, you ever heard Stephen A. Smith's rant about Kwame Brown?
Yes.
He said, Kwame Brown
is a scrub.
He's a scrub. That's all I can hear in my head. Meanwhile, in the other part of my head, I hear Chris Tucker for Friday, kill him. I can't believe then, when, like at the end of the night, when Ospreay got up on that turnbuckle and looked at him and did the swerve stomp, I said, oh, he's in your house. He's walking your dog. He's eating your food. Oh my God. I said, oh. And then when, he grabs the bell, I said, what I love though is that I think that sometimes AEW, especially towards like the main event, when I think things are starting running out of time, they start rushing things. I love the pacing of those final minutes was great. The pacing,
absolutely, and Swerve's warning. He said, "You're lucky we're still friends, because otherwise."
Oh my god! And then
somebody commented. I was just gonna say really quick. Also, my computer's finna die, so if I leave, that's why. But somebody commented like, AEW has a bad habit of not putting the best wrestler, having them like wrestle right away, and then bad things happen. And I totally get that. I really do. That's a more than valid point. I would say that with Ospreay having just won the international title, right? He could be having banger after banger matches with talent up and down the card and really around the world. And the Swerve match, even if God forbid, somebody catches the injury bug, the Swerve match is always going to be there. Even if 100%. Neither one of them, huh?
I said 100%.
Oh, yeah. So I hear what you're saying. I would say Ospreay is checking fantastic wrestlers and fantastic matches like off the list like it's fucking nothing. And undoubtedly we would still be getting hits even if Ospreay wasn't involved in this title picture. Yeah, and I just think at the end of the day, right, like we Forbidden Door. Even if we wanted to tell the story of, us rushing to this and Ospreay rushing to this, Forbidden Door, that's not the point of this pay-per-view. That's not what this is here for.
And I also think that the international title is obviously it's not the world title, but that title is meant to be not even a workhorse title. It's meant to be a top guy title. It's meant to have quality matchups. And I think about it that's why I felt that it was a perfect title in Will Ospreay's hands, because let's think about it. If you look at New Japan last year, the United States Heavyweight Championship in Will Ospreay's hands meant more than the IWGP Heavyweight Championship meant all year. And that's just the truth. And so he knows how to make a mid-card title feel like a world title. And yeah, I do agree. Like sometimes they hold off on certain matches and to the point to where then people get injured. Like for example, last year, Kenny Omega not having a singles match at Wembley was the craziest decision ever. And now we don't even know if he's going to make it to Wembley this year. Now, I'm knocking on wood because you better y'all, Kenny Omega, I'm so fucked up about you. I hope that you have a great day. I hope that you are having a great day.
Blessed be.
Blessed be. Glory be to God. Amen. I hope that you are having a great day wherever you are. I hope that you're healing up. Kota Ibushi, I hope you're healing up as well. I hope you're doing amazing. Our golden star. You amazing human being. Hangman,
you are so loved.
Hangman, come home.
Hangman. Answer
me now. You owe me a debt. You stole him.
You stole him from me.
Hello. So yeah, I love, and also this is my idea. I tweeted this, a lot of people liked it, and so I'm assuming that y'all are jiggy with my ideas, but especially when Ospreay did the Swerve stomp, and then he took the belt, I immediately thought, you know what Swerve should do? Swerve needs to hit the Tiger Driver 91 in that match. Correct.
Well, yes.
And so if it happens, no, seriously, if that happens at that point, I'm storming up to the office, y'all need to put me on payroll. Like, honestly, I'm kind of getting scared. Like, and this is not even.
But I think that's the story. That's the story. Is
Putting
that
me
the
on
whole
payroll?
time Ospreay's. Oh, well, that too. But Ospreay, it's whether or not Ospreay got that dog in him, whether that Ospreay is that shooter. And Swerve even said, he was like, you know, look, they call me Kill Shot because if you're not finna pull the trigger, I will. Like,
I think
talking about foreshadowing that move specifically, you know.
I think it's also interesting too of just, you know, Swerve mentioned it, you know, in his promo earlier today. He was like, the only time that we've really seen you really pull out that dog out of you was when Kenny Omega, you got it out of you in Forbidden Door last year. Because let's remember, in that, if you look back at the original Ospreay Omega match at the Tokyo Dome, it was an 80-20 match for offensively. Ospreay got cooked, got kicked. Kenny went to a lower place as far as like pure sadism and violence than we've probably ever seen from him. And like, he had that killer instinct. Ospreay was unable to take it there. He was unable to take it there. I think her computer died. And so we're going to wrap this up. Ospreay was unable to take it there. And obviously he gets his revenge last year at Forbidden Door. And so he finally takes it there to that crazy level of sadism. And so, who knows? Swerve is looking for that out of him at Forbidden Door this year. We may or may not see it. I doubt, obviously it was going to be a great match, but Ospreay is going to avoid pulling the trigger, and it's going to cost him. And you know, he's already injured. He already has so many things going on. It's okay, Dani. It's okay. But that was Dynamite. Thank you for watching, everybody. Super exciting stuff. I'm glad that we did all the updates at the beginning this time, so there was really nothing to add at the end. But thank you, everybody, for watching. We will be back on next week. As of right now, I'm going to Forbidden Door, guys, so hopefully I get to have some content for you. But until next time, this has been another chapter of the Dynamite book, and you've been watching me and Dani. We'll see you next time.